Hi dear subscribers, most watch me without a subscription, support my channel with a subscription, and I will make you happy with new story. Story 1. My married next-door neighbor is cheating on her husband with at least 2 different guys during the day while he's at work. Me and my BF moved into our place almost 3 years ago, and sometime last year a new couple in their mid-30s moved in directly next door, terraced, 2-level houses, so we share a wall. We both have 2 upstairs bedrooms, and it quickly became apparent that they chose the room that shares a wall with our bedroom, as we would often hear them having sex at night. No porn star level moaning or anything like that, but you can easily make out the movement of the bed and slapping of flesh on flesh, so enough to be a distraction. We both found it funny at first, but often they'd be at it in the very early hours of the morning, especially at weekends, and often multiple times back to back with breaks between. It really started to interrupt our sleeping, so we decided just to move rooms, and now our old bedroom is my WFH office. While they were both working from home and I was in my new office room, I'd still hear them at it during the day every now and then, but I'd just put on my headphones and try and ignore it. No big deal, and good on them for having such an active sex life. Once the husband went back to office working, I was no longer having to reach for my headphones nearly as often, so thought that would be the end of it. A few weeks after him going back to work, however, the midday sex noises started up again, even more enthusiastic and frequent than before, which was odd as her husband's car was not parked outside. I also noticed a pattern of hearing their doorbell go shortly before the sex started. After going full nosy neighbor mode and peeking through our blinds almost every day, I noticed that a guy was parking his van just up the road, popping in next door for an hour of fun, then heading back out. Not only that, but I've even spotted a different guy turning up every now and then. I've been cheated on before, albeit in a much more casual relationship when I was younger, and think it's one of the most disrespectful and hurtful things someone can do to another person. It makes me so sad for her husband, and hearing her go at it with these guys on an almost daily basis is getting me increasingly annoyed and angry. My boyfriend says I just need to ignore it, and it's not worth getting caught up in these things. I kind of agree, but almost feel like making some kind of anonymous tip-off to let her husband know somehow. What do you guys think? P.S. She was already halfway through her second round with one of the guys this afternoon when I started typing this. Update, for those saying mind my own business, I get that to an extent, but it kind of becomes my business when it's distracting me from work on a daily basis. There's been a few times I've had calls while it's been going on, and I just have to pray that the noise cancelling from my mic is doing its job and be extra quick on the mute button when I'm not talking. A lot are saying to separate the two issues, which seems like good advice. After all, it's the noise that's impacting me personally. Even if it was her and her husband, that would still be a major annoyance for me. In fact, even though we've moved rooms, we can still hear them most nights, and often early morning too. I honestly don't know how she can manage so much sex. Admittedly, the cheating aspect, assuming it's not some kind of open relationship thing they have going on, which seems unlikely, but yes, I suppose it is possible, is adding to my emotional response for sure, but ultimately that's between them, not me. As much as I empathize with the husband, again, assuming he's unaware, I do agree with a lot of the comments here that it's not my place to out her, and not worth being in any way involved with the potential fallout. My boyfriend also shares this view. Reporting to council/police just doesn't seem like an option. I mean, it is, but it would be obvious it was us who complained, and neither of us want to go down that path. I think I will have to try to pluck up the courage and maybe try to bring it up casually the next time I see her on her own, and hope for the best. On the bright side, their neighbor on the other side is an older guy who is practically deaf, so if they at least swapped rooms like we did, there's less chance of the other neighbor hearing them at it. Update, well, turns out there was a twist after all. After all my moaning, my boyfriend got talking to the guy out the back over the weekend and as sensitively and politely as possible brought up the subject of the noise, and well, long story short, they are adult content creators. Obviously, he never mentioned anything about the guys showing up, but we think it's probably safe to assume he's well aware. The husband was also very apologetic and admitted they were both worried about noise, but figured it must not be that bad as we've never mentioned anything all this time and that they tend not to hear much from us. It turns out the wife is now doing this as her main job and quit her previous job months ago, and they already planned on turning their spare room into her studio, which if happens should mean much less noise for us. Kudos to all of you that called me out for being so presumptuous that she was cheating. Lesson learned not to jump to conclusions. Story 2. OOP is caught having sex with his deaf girlfriend. Throwaway account. I'm not as good with words as most people who post on this sub, so my story might sound boring. LOL.mygf and I are both 17. Communication is important for any relationship, but it's especially important for us because my GF is deaf. A few weeks ago, we became sexually active. It was awkward at first, but eventually we got the hang of it. I suggested we do something special in bed before we go our separate ways during the holidays. I convinced her to tie me up and blindfold me when we have sex again. Yesterday it happened. My GF and I were in her bedroom. We made sure to lock the door, even though we were alone in the house. When I was done going down on her, she tied me up and blindfolded me. She enjoys the reverse cowgirl position, so it didn't surprise me when I could feel her sitting on top of me like that. That position was our downfall because moments later I heard a knock on the door. It was her mom. I don't know if it's a deaf person thing or just my GF, but her moans are loud as fuck. I've mentioned it to her many times, not as a criticism, and she always thinks I'm exaggerating. Her moaning made her mom lose her shit behind the door. I wiggled my hips like I was hula hooping to get my GF to either pay attention to my face and read my lips or get the fuck off of me before her mom kicked the door down. I couldn't see shit and my GF was becoming more enthusiastic and vocal due to my weird hip movements. The handcuffs were very challenging, but I managed to grab the box of wet wipes on the nightstand and toss it towards my GF. She paused and lifted my blindfold. I mouthed, "Your mom is home and she can hear us." My GF freed me and we got dressed as quickly and quietly as possible. Her mom stopped banging on the door when we stopped making a sound. My GF and I were too scared to open the door, so we literally did nothing. Her mom decided to send her a message on her phone. The message said, "Is everything okay? Are you doing what I think you're doing?" My GF proceeded to type what seemed like the script for the next Lord of the Rings movie, but she changed her mind mid-text and just replied with yes, followed by "Please don't tell Dad." I had to do my walk of shame in the presence of the mom, who was unpacking grocery bags in the kitchen at the time. I've never seen a person pack products into a fridge with so much aggression. We were unable to look at each other. I awkwardly said hello and goodbye and left. Update: a few days ago my GF and I got caught being intimate. Her mom heard us in the bedroom and banged on the door. My GF heard nothing because she is deaf. I did my best to communicate what was happening, but I was in a compromising position at the time. By the time my GF and I were on the same page, the damage was done. Her mom heard it all. Yesterday, my GF sent me a message to inform me that her parents wanted to have a discussion with the two of us regarding recent events. I agreed to meet with them at their house towards the end of the day. This is what I expected to happen. 1. Uncomfortable conversation with the parents about my shenanigans with their daughter. 2. Awkward apology from me. 3. Parents accepting my apology and encouraging my GF and I to practice safe sex, even though no sex at all would probably be their preference. 4. I use what I've learned in sign language to tell the parents how much I love their daughter and hopefully make them like me more. 5. Wholesome-ish ending. So, 1 to 3 kind of happened as expected, but I managed to fuck up 4 and 5. This is what happened. I've been learning sign language on an on and off basis for months now. I'm nowhere near good enough, but my GF and I thought it might disarm her parents if I made a small gesture in sign language to show how much I cared about her. It sounded like an excellent suggestion on paper, but I was worried that I would fuck it up because my sign language skills kind of suck. My GF encouraged me to learn something simple. Like an "I love you" or whatever. I thought maybe an "I love your daughter" to the parents would be better. However, due to the stress of her parents confronting us and the pressure to avoid saying the wrong things, including the sign language part, I became overwhelmed and miscommunicated the sign for daughter and signed "I love your whore." I knew the sign had something to do with touching the side of the cheek or chin, so I did what I thought made sense instead of aborting the mission when I forgot the fucking sign. Instant regret. My GF buried her face in her hands. I could tell she was laughing. Her parents didn't have the same reaction. The two of them looked at me like I was the poop demon in Dogma. I had no idea it was an inappropriate sign when it happened, but it was obvious I did something wrong. It was the complete opposite of a wholesome ending. My GF video called me afterwards to show me the difference between daughter and whore in sign language and to tell me I should probably avoid her parents for the time being because I'm not their favorite person at the moment. Guess I'm never gonna make a good impression now. TL, dear, I wanted to show my deaf GF's parents how much I appreciated their daughter by using sign language to say I love your daughter, but I accidentally signed I love your whore instead. Story 3. OP enjoyed the threesome BF insisted on, but not because of her boyfriend. I was pressured into a threesome by my boyfriend and enjoyed it, but not because of him. This happened 2 days ago, and my emotions are kinda still all over, so sorry in advance. I'll try to put this in order and make it as clear as possible. Throwaway, because BF knows my main.SOI, 21F, have been with my BF, 22M, for 3 years. He's known I was bi since we started dating and had never really said anything about it till last year. After he met my college friend Maya. Maya is also bi and very beautiful, but while honest about her experience, isn't one to brag. When in a group playing drinking games last year, Maya opened up about a threesome she had before, and I guess that's when my BF got the idea. I had been against it when he first brought it up, but eventually, he wore me down. When I finally said yes, he immediately suggested Maya, which looking back was his aim from the start. When we approached Maya, she was down, and we had made plans that worked for everyone's schedule. Maya texted me separately multiple times to make sure I was on board and comfortable, as she put it. Just didn't seem my style. I told her I was on board and to not worry, that me and my BF had talked about it. When the day came, she surprisingly took the lead, which I don't think my BF was expecting either. I'll spare you the details, but she made sure the focus was me and actually instructed my boyfriend on what to do. If he tried to focus on her, she gently redirected him to me, saying things like, "Now look how pretty your GF is when you do this." She barely let him touch her without asking me, "Do you want to do ____?" She would praise me a lot, throw out something I didn't even realize I liked. She also checked on both of us through the whole thing. I honestly think it was the best me and my BF ever had. After it was over, she did what she called aftercare and made us comfortable. I don't remember me or BF falling asleep. But when we woke up, breakfast was made. Maya is a chef professionally, so it was amazing. She had also left us a note as she had work in the afternoon and was sorry she couldn't stay. I feel like the dynamic between me and BF had changed since, and I know we have to talk about it, but I don't even know what to say. Edit. My point being, I enjoyed sex with Maya more than I ever had with my boyfriend. I didn't want to go super into detail cause TMI, but Maya was mostly touching me and was focused on me. I also think my boyfriend is disappointed he wasn't the focus. I also think he was surprised how much he liked being told what to do. Small update, my boyfriend beat me to it and has texted me, "We need to talk. We are planning on meeting up at Starbucks after my shift tomorrow." I might update this post after. Update, this whole thing was emotionally draining and this post blew up more than I thought. Well, he saw the post and read through the comments. When we met, he apologized. He said he never saw himself convincing me as manipulation, as we had talked about being more adventurous in the bedroom before, and he thought I just needed time. He told me he did enjoy it a lot, but it wasn't what he imagined it would be, and was feeling insecure because I had been so responsive to Maya. It wasn't until after it was over he started feeling inadequate as a partner. I'll admit I was a little heated because I told him for the past year something like this would happen, and that 3 ways, especially ones not talked about in depth and hard boundaries set, this happens. I was willing to work through this if he was willing to work on his insecurity, but then he asked me to drop Maya. I absolutely refused. Maya is one of the few friends I have in the city, and we're very close even before all this. I explained to him that distancing from Maya would not fix his insecurities. We went back and forth for a while before he tried to give me a "it's me or her" speech. I just left him there. I'm hurt and angry with myself. It even got to this point. Like, how in the hell did I get here? And I know you guys made sure to point out all the red flags, but he was my first serious boyfriend. 3 years are hard to see past that, I guess. I called Maya after I got home and explained everything. She tried to apologize, explaining she had had a small thing for me when we first met, but grew into more just a friendship. When me and now ex-BF approached her, she was excited to, in her words, fuck it out of her system. She apologized again, saying recap or for this situation to be more than it was, but I reassured her none of this is her fault, that she didn't want for us to be. She said she would support me as a friend or give me space, whatever I wanted if that's what I needed, and I really appreciate it. For all you guys, hoping I'd end up with Maya. Sorry to disappoint, but I think I'm going to be single for a good long while and figure out my feelings. I do like Maya, as a friend and maybe more, but if I was to ever pursue things, I'd want to be sure I'm 100% genuine and not just feeling a void or an idea of a person. I have a therapist already, and I guess this is going to be something I'm unpacking. So I can set better boundaries in the future for any future partners. Edit, so I keep getting PMs asking if they could put this on TikTok. I really don't care. I won't be logging into this account again after this, so do whatever you want with this post. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.